Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. Well, I've been trying to make some sense of this situation with Rudy Farias. It is crazy, you guys. Initially, he appeared to be a missing person, and he kind of was from what we're gathering, but there's still so many questions, and I'm gonna make sure you guys know some of this stuff I'm waiting to be confirmation. I'm trying not to cover anything that hasn't really been confirmed, but I think we're starting to get a bigger a more clear picture of the larger story here. Basically, we were told that on June 29th that missing person Rudy Farias, who went missing 8 years ago, was discovered by a church on a church property on June 29th. It's turning out to be, this is not all that it appears to be. Now, I'm going to go through a few articles here, and like I said, I'm still compiling a lot of info. I've got a couple videos, and again, it's kind of messy, and just a lot going on. Basically, again, this is Rudy Farias. He was supposedly found alive after vanishing 8 years ago, last week. Now, his neighbors, the neighbors of his mother, stated that they never knew he was missing because they had seen him all these years. According to the neighbors, they knew this guy as a man named Dolph. Apparently, his full name is Rudolph, and they call him Rudy. The neighbors, again, who know Farias as Dolph, short for Rudolph, told KTRK that he had visited their home often, but they hadn't seen him recently. And again, there's his missing persons poster that was put out, and these photos appear to be a problem as well, and I haven't gotten full confirmation on that as well. These may be older photos. Another neighbor told the news station that they had seen Rudy at the mom's home for many years, for the last few years. And they were shocked because they had no idea that this person was supposedly a missing person. Now, there is one of the neighbors right there who spoke to the news. And like we reported before, everyone's been reporting that he was still wearing the necklace of his brother. Now, this has actually happened. His brother died in 2011 in a motorcycle accident, and he's been wearing that necklace. Now, Mom kept saying that he was nonverbal, he wouldn't really talk, he had gotten beaten up, all this sort of stuff. That was the story that we were getting until some things started coming out, and a lot of it has been on a Facebook group, and I've kind of wanted to make sure I don't report anything, and I'm still going to use the word allegedly on some of this stuff because there's still a lot going on. But Mom seems to be super guilty, and it seems as though she has some real issues, and she's got multiple Facebook accounts, and thanks to a lot of folks in the Facebook group that I joined, that they had done some massive research, and it's amazing what his mom has done through the last few years. What kind of hinted me off, and I did that short video the other day, and even as I posted it, I was a little sketch about the whole thing because, it just seemed really odd to me, but I figured, okay, well, let's see what more comes out, and we were hitting the 4th of July holiday. Now, here's the issue. Texas EquiSearch, Tim has been very suspicious of this whole thing. And Texas EquiSearch, they are amazing, okay? And if Tim and his team are sus, I'm going to listen to what they have to say. So let me play a video where the news has spoken to Tim with EquiSearch regarding this case.
Well, gone and discovered 8 years later, the investigation continues into where Rudy Farias has been all this time.
KPRC2 investigator Mario Diaz has been working this case for over 24 hours now. Mario, you spoke with the chief of HPD earlier. What is he saying about this case tonight?
Yeah, Chief Finner had a very guarded responses. They were not very long regarding a case that has proven to be very complex.
Well, Mario, look, that's a case that's very active and don't have a whole lot to say to you.
Houston Police Department Chief Troy Finner speaking for the first time on the case of Rudy Farias, only to KPRC2 Investigates.
I just think that we need to get in and get some answers. You know, right now, if you don't talk to somebody, we don't have any answers, okay? But, you know, we'll get down to the bottom of it.
Just very strange.
Tim Miller of EquiSearch also is attempting to get to the bottom of it, admitting he has spoken with HPD investigators routinely since Farias was discovered last Thursday outside this church in Southeast Houston. Miller says in the last 24 hours, HPD has told him the following.
They want to go visit Rudy. They want to go talk with family. And they want to put things together, but nobody has what you got.
Miller is referencing this video. We obtained it after workers at a business near where Rudy Farias was found expressed concerns. They say the man in the video never visited their establishment before, but that he came in only hours before Farias was discovered. He was incoherent, had no money, and left after someone purchased a meal for him. A few hours later, Farias, who was unable to talk according to his family, was found across the street.
The mystery man in that video needs to be tracked down and checked out immediately.
Why?
In case that's Rudy.
Miller says if the mystery man in this video turns out to be Farias, then it may shift the investigation, eliminating an original theory that Farias was dumped at the church.
This could possibly put a whole brand new spin on this.
We show Chief Finner the video that KPRC2 Investigates secured of the man that had workers concerned, a man that is now generating questions.
We just want to verify some things. I don't want to, you know, go on your video or anybody else. I think when we get it in and have an opportunity to, you know, review it, we'll make that determination.
Now, I also spoke today with the mother of Rudy Farias. I extended her the invitation to speak with KPRC2 Investigates about this case, about what she is feeling right now, about her son coming home. She declined our offer for this day, but perhaps we'll be speaking with her in the near future. In downtown Houston, Mario Diaz, KPRC2.
So this is the initial video I saw before the 4th of July. Today being Wednesday, a lot has started to come out. Because investigators today started talking to Rudy, his mom, and the rest of the family. This is Quanell X. It's a local community activist in the Houston area. He met with Rudy and detectives today and for over an hour. And this is when he spoke to the media this afternoon.
Okay, fire away with your questions.
So you've been here with Rudy and his mother?
For a few hours, yes.
What are the conversations like?
Let me first apologize for my appearance. I received an emergency phone call to get over here for this meeting with the detectives and Rudy's mother and Rudy. And so I dropped everything I was doing and made it as fast as I possibly could. And I spent about an hour and 20 minutes one-on-one with Rudy and with one of the detectives. I heard horrific things from that young man. And I did not want him to see me start shedding tears, but I couldn't hold back the tears because of the things he was saying to us, the detective and myself. No child should ever be treated like that by your own mother. This young man said that when he initially ran away, he came back 2 days later, and she told him that he had to hide, that he was going to get in trouble, and they were going to arrest him for running away, and that he had to continue hiding. And so she hid him out for a while, then brought him back to the house and hid him in the home. And initially, whenever the investigators would come, she would hide him in the house. And he kept saying, I don't want her to go to prison. I don't want her to get in trouble. I don't want her to go to jail. And so we asked him, why did you run away? And he said he just got tired of her not respecting his boundaries. And she said that he wanted his own life. And his exact word was, I was tired of living like a slave. She would take him to work with her, and he would do the required work she was supposed to do. And a lot of the responsibilities of her job was on him. And he went on to say that what troubled him the most was her crossing his personal space boundaries. He said that she would make him sleep in the bed with her. And he said that she made him play daddy. He said that he didn't like getting in the bed with her. That he would try to sneak out of the bed and sometime hide under the bed, but she told him he had to be her husband. That's a damn shame, man. A little boy said she was the one providing drugs to him for years. Hallucination drugs, mushrooms, etc. And that the reason why he was left, he was just tired of her crossing his boundaries. When he would shower, she would come and pull the shower curtain back and stare at him, and then she would make him bathe her with the soap. And he ran away this time because he was tired.
Well, now, you've been doing this for many years. How emotional has today been with this case?
It's a goddamn shame. I ain't never in my life heard of a mother doing to a child what this woman did.
Were you at all there when the mother was questioned?
Yes.
And what was her reaction when
Yes.
you talked to her?
And I knew something was wrong with the story. When she was questioned, when they found him, he had her credit card in his pocket. She just canceled that credit card 2.5 years ago. So if he's been missing for 8 years, how the hell he get your credit card in his pocket when they found him from 2.5 years ago? And he said to us that she gave him that credit card so he could go and buy her certain things.
But with the other allegations, what was her response to those allegations?
She hadn't even heard them because we had to remove her from the room.
But so she hasn't been questioned about that?
Can you describe her demeanor and his demeanor during questioning?
When she was in the room, he wouldn't say nothing. He wouldn't say one word when she was in the room. But the minute she left the room and we were allowed to talk to a young man, and he asked, he said, can I speak with Mr. X by myself? Can I talk to Quanell by myself? And the detective was like, well, can one of us stay in the room? And he was like, okay, but I'll talk to him. When she left, when he first came here, he was holding on to her. He wouldn't talk to them. He wouldn't say one word to anybody. Like he was petrified. But the minute he got alone by himself, he slowly calmed down. And he slowly began to talk very coherently and specific details.
This is a man in his mid-20s. People might wonder, why not run away from this situation? Why not get yourself out of it? Did he give you any explanation about that?
I honestly believe, based on what he said to us, she was drugging the hell out this kid. And she convinced him that he was in trouble for initially running away and that law enforcement wanted to arrest him and put him in jail for running away. She had convinced him that all type of agencies were looking for him to put him in jail.
He was in plain sight, according to you, in that he would take her to work.
No, he would go to work with her.
Right. He would
stay at the job with her.
She would take him to work. Where did she work, and where was he doing this work?
It was some kind of security job or something like that. Where they were at, I don't know, but it was a security type job, a nighttime security watch type job.
How did he end up in the church?
We still can't. He admitted that he had took mushrooms, okay? And 2 weeks before this, or a week, not even official, whole 2 weeks, her car was stolen, okay? When her car was stolen, she didn't know how the car was stolen, but the keys were in the car. And he stole the car. That's when he got into the accident in the car. And it was him that got into the accident in that car.
What was the story? I mean, this is 8 years he was reported missing. What's the story that he's been? I spoke to neighbors who said he went by dope, but he never kind of told anyone what happened. What was his story? Because
she had convinced him that he was in so much trouble for initially running away, and she gave this boy serious drugs to the point to where this boy needs extensive professional help.
How did he stay missing for so long? I mean, 8 years.
He was allowed to visit with some of the neighbors under an assumed name. She believed that after so many years, people had forgotten about the case, and that under an assumed name, and convinced him to use that name, nobody would put two and two together.
But he never told any of the people that he was with what was happening?
Never told anybody what was going on. And let me say this. That young man's body have scars all over it. Slice wounds from here up, from literally his forearm to his wrist. All type of scars on this kid. And he said that she often locked him in the room, that she would give him drugs and lock him in the room. And there's a whole lot of mental health issues there, I believe, induced because of the drugs that this young man was getting.
At any point during this process today, did you see the mother detained by HPD?
They took her to another room and kept her there for a minute after he had confided with us what was said. I know they were on the phone with the DA's office and their superiors about this case, but I want everybody to know something. This young boy was not kidnapped by some strangers and he got away and they found him. That's not the case here.
You know, this happened on Thursday, and we're nearly a week later, and investigators waited almost a week to speak to him. Hearing the story that you heard, is it a concern that they waited this long to hear from him, given the story that you were told? It seems like he's had 8 years of dealing with this, and now another week.
I was shocked that they have not done more. I was shocked that they had not executed a search warrant on the home. I was shocked by that. And I said, don't you all think you need to get busy and execute a search warrant on that home? And the young man made it crystal clear to us that that's where he was, in the house. But he was living under this fake assumed name.
You think police failed in this situation?
Oh, big time. No doubt about it. Absolutely they did. Because there were several instances where calls were made about him to law enforcement, and they did not properly follow up and follow through based on the history of that address, because she hadn't changed addresses.
Some residents were saying this morning that she brought bags and she was trying to leave. Do we know something about that?
She was trying to do what?
She was trying to leave the house. She was trying to leave the house?
She did leave the house.
So she was trying to escape?
She did leave the house, and she was trying to get away from the house, yes.
Why was she at this hotel?
She said she felt that she was not safe going home because she had been receiving threats.
What now? Is the police investigation over? Where are they?
I can't say at what state their investigation is, but what I can say, it ain't no way in hell that woman shouldn't be locked up immediately, and that boy needs to go to the best drug rehab and best psychological mental health facility that we can find for him. He's a good kid. He's a good kid. That kid was just severely abused.
And what was the mother's reaction when you brought these stories to her?
I couldn't go back in the presence at that point. The police felt it was just best that she and I not speak again. Because I was bitter.
Is she aware of these that the son told you?
Yes, she's aware. And then she goes back in there and tries to tell him, and she don't even know that was recorded. Tell him that you made it all up. That it was just a lie.
You said she would ask him to play daddy. Can you just she was sexually abused?
She would ask him to play daddy. She told him that he had to be the husband. She would force him to sleep in the bed with her. And he was forced to sleep at times in the beds with no clothes on.
Was anything physically done?
Yes, but I don't want to talk about the kissing and all of that stuff.
But he was telling you that there was some sort of sexual action that was happening between him
Let me
and
ask you a question. If your mother tongue kissing you in the bed with her naked, what the hell is that? I mean, damn, do we have to go that far? That's what happened. This is sick. This ain't normal. This is sick.
Juanel, if these allegations are true, and I understand the position you're in, if they are true, how long before you think there's an arrest?
Based on what that young man said to me in front of the detective, I don't see why she's not in handcuffs right now. I don't see why she's not in handcuffs right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is so crazy and sick. I have no understanding, and from what I'm hearing, law enforcement allowed him to go home with his mother today. What the hell, guys? What the hell? And why would he go with her? Well, you know, there's something called Stockholm Syndrome, and I don't think he knows any different. I don't understand, just like he just said, why, after everything that Rudy just said, why, one, this mother hasn't been arrested, and two, why they allowed the two of them to go home together. Seems to me that they should have brought him to some sort of institution, some sort of help and assistance, and keep him away from his mother. So I don't know. We don't know if that video that in the previous clip that I showed, if that is really Rudy. That's been debated as well. But this gentleman spoke with Rudy. And these were the things that he said to law enforcement. And it's not okay. He apparently came home after a couple days, and she has basically been brainwashing him and abusing him mentally, physically, emotionally, and drugging him. There's just no... My mind is blown. My mind is blown on why this mother is allowed to walk free right now. And why did it take until after the 4th of July holiday? Why did it take until today, like they said, 6 days later? Why did it take 6 days for law enforcement to even sit down with Rudy and his mother. It took the media and social media sleuths, which, granted, it doesn't always result in good stuff. That's why I was hesitant on doing a video, because a lot of good families have been, stoned on social media. Basically, they've gone after good people, and Brandy Neal and Tyler, they are two that always come to mind, and people still go after them after everything. So, to me, I'd rather wait and get more of the full story, which is, like I said, coming out today. And there's still so much that needs to be investigated and figured out. I mean, what the hell is Houston PD doing about this? And maybe this is a federal issue as well. And I know Tim Miller from EquiSearch is probably furious right now, as well as the volunteers. They volunteer physically, emotionally, mentally. They do everything they can to help the missing. And then this crap happens. And if he did, like I said, he ran away for a couple days and he came home. You know what? If that would have came out within a few days, nobody would have been mad at him. I mean, it happens. But Mom is the master manipulator. And it's just mind-blowing to me that the sickness, because she's sick. If everything that he's saying is true, and I don't have any other reason to believe it not to be, because the police aren't talking. This man is the only one talking, besides the neighbors. Why is nobody behind bars, namely Mom? So I'm hoping that something happens to her and Rudy gets the help he needs. There's no excuse for this crap. There's just none. And I feel really sorry for this guy. 17 years old, runs away from home, and then for 8 years, he's abused by his mother. Like I said, it's very mixed up. It makes me mad. And whereas what I initially thought, and unfortunately it didn't last very long, that good feeling. I initially thought when I first heard this story, wow, what a nice, great ending. Somebody missing has been found, because isn't that what we always want? Because that's what I want. When a child or an adult goes missing, or we find out they're abducted and they're found, you're like, wow, what a great ending. Even if they're hurt and they have to go through some things, the fact that they are found and located, to me, is very, very important. But this is not the case. This is something totally different, out of left field. And it just blows your mind. And this is not even the complete everything. I don't want to make a humongous video, because I still want to compile, some more information before we do this. But Quanell's media presser here that he basically did with the media outside after speaking with Rudy, that's vital. And let's hope to God that law enforcement does something else. Unfortunately, Rudy is 25 right now. Unless someone does something to prosecute her and he decides to stay there, I don't know what else can be done. This is just, like I said, it makes me mad. It's upsetting, and it's beyond what anybody could ever think. And this mother is horrid. Horrid. And I'm sure these neighbors feel awful because they had no idea that Dolph was Rudy. They had no idea, and I don't blame them at all. I blame the mom and the rest of the family. And like he said, there are stories of the family and people making calls to law enforcement, whether or not they knew that this guy was a missing person or not, but they knew something was something fishy was going on in that home. So I'm hoping that Houston PD or State PD, somebody gets their butts in gear and does something about this. Because it's not okay. It's just not okay. Well, let me know what you think in the comments. And I will do another video soon once I get some more info. And if you know anything about it, my email is always in the information of every single video. If you have any tips, you're always welcome to send them to me, and you can remain anonymous if you don't want me to let anybody know it's from you. Totally fine. All right, with that said, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.